Why did Jesus choose Judas if Jesus knew he was going to betray him? Why did he choose him? Like in the Bible, he also says it's better for him not to be born than
Christ himself said that, right? So, as I was saying, like in school, there are some things that you can learn only in some sequence. If you try to learn what you're supposed to learn in 12th standard now and start reading the textbook, will that make a lot of sense to you?
All the things you won't understand.
Yeah. What can you do now in order to understand that later?
You can study the class that you're studying now.
So if you do your 4th standard well, then hopefully when you get to 12th standard, you will figure it out. But if you try to do 12th standard now,
then you won't be able to do 4th standard well, or you won't be able to do 12th standard well.
Correct. So I'm just telling you a small part of what I think is the answer. This is something that great saints and people have thought about for a long time, and it's something about God, which means that we will never understand the whole of it. But this is just a small part of the answer to get you thinking in the right direction. Okay? So how do we know what is the purpose of creation if we were to think of it like that? What did God want to do by creating any humans at all? That we will know that God is gracious. Okay? Or God has grace. What does grace mean?
Like
undeserved merit. While we deserve punishment, God is willing to give us
life.
Something very special. Okay, it's not just not punishing, it is rewarding somebody instead of somebody who needs to get punished. Okay. So how can we know whether somebody is a forgiving person?
Like you said, a doctor, if you have to have a doctor, you need, what did you say? I forgot. You need a sick person and a well person.
If you know a doctor can treat, you need at least 3 kinds of people. One is a healthy person to know what a normal person is like. The second is the other two are sick people. One sick person who doesn't get treated, so that we know that in case there is no treatment, what will happen to that person. And we need another sick person so that when the doctor treats him, we can know that he is cured. The difference between the sick person and the
So you mean eventually we'll have 2 normal people? Like if the doctors
treats well. So you need at least 3 kinds of people, right? So similarly, we need, for us to know that God is a forgiving, gracious God, we need at least 3 categories of creatures.
What do you mean by creatures, not people?
Not just people, creatures. Okay. So one set of creatures who are like the normal people, who are holy, who don't need forgiveness.
Who are already forgiven.
Who don't need forgiveness
you mean
at
like
all.
Angels?
Yeah, right. Like angels. Then we need 2 kinds of sinful people. One kind of sinful creatures who will never get forgiven, like who cannot be forgiven, like
Satan.
Yeah, the fallen angels. And then we need the 3rd kind of people,
like humans, who can be forgiven,
who are sinners but can be forgiven. And within humans also, there are some people who accept that forgiveness and some who don't accept it. But we can't see the result now. So the question why God allowed Judas.
It's like the result meaning it's like an exam. Some people write it right and some people do it wrong. So you don't know the results right away after you finish writing the exam.
Yeah, but that's a little bit of a distraction from the question we are thinking now. This is from God's point of view. So why did God allow Judas to betray him? The big question is, like I said, why did God allow
Judas to be born? Or even
before
if
that,
say that, why did Jesus take Judas as his disciple? You know, Jesus could have actually just left him as a normal man and then he could have come and betrayed Jesus.
Yeah, if not, no.
Why not? He could have
Now
followed
that's-
Jesus like some other Mary and Martha.
No. How will we know that? How will we know that? See, what happened to Judas? Judas was not a stranger. He was a friend. What is betrayal? When you let down a friend, right? If somebody is not your friend, they can't betray you, right?
I don't
But Jesus-
understand.
Okay.
Somebody is not your friend.
How
They
can
still
they?
can betray you. They can
How?
say, this is the person.
No. That's not what I'm saying. Not about the betrayal of Judas, about betrayal in general. Okay? You think some people are your friends. Then you think they like you.
Yeah.
But actually, they don't like you. When you find that out, how does it feel?
Sad.
How will that happen? Only if they were your friends, then they don't like you, or they say something nasty about you, or they gang up against you. That is called betrayal. Okay? So for somebody to betray you, that person will already have been your friend.
But it can be somebody like Lazarus. Lazarus was not his disciple, but Lazarus was Jesus' friend.
Yeah, but the closer the friend is, the more hurting it is, right? For example, if somebody in your class doesn't listen to me, doesn't obey what I say, I'm not bothered. There are a lot of children around in our campus who I'm not bothered about. But if Patrick doesn't obey me, I'll be very bothered. Why?
I'm your son.
Yeah, but only if Patrick doesn't obey me, Patrick can know that even if he doesn't obey, I still love him. So, if you were not my son, and if I forgave you, it's not as a big deal as you being my son and disobeying me, which is very bad, and still me forgiving, which is very good or extremely good. So for us to know that God is gracious, that His love is unconditional, it had to be a close friend of Jesus who was going to betray Him.
Even Lazarus was a close friend, like closer than most people. Like it was like the.
Yeah. So it is not for us to decide for God. I am not trying, we don't have to give God ideas about what all He could have done. We are simply trying to understand. We first have to accept that God did the best thing, and we are trying to understand why He may have done it that way. Okay. So just saying even Lazarus or even Paul Deepak doesn't make sense. We are not giving him ideas. We are trying to understand why he did it. But like I already said, it's only a very small part of the answer. Hopefully as you grow up, you may learn more about the answer. Hopefully when we go to heaven, we may know even more. But since it is something about God, we will never be able to know the whole answer. But we can always be sure that God has done the right thing, and He will help us to understand as much as we need to trust Him.
Yeah, but Judas betrayed Jesus. He asked for some money, but he actually threw the money back and killed himself. Why did he do that? Like he wanted to betray
So that's another
Jesus.
different question. Shall we talk about it some other time?